Are you one of many people that wake up each day, you've had a family member pass away, there's a trust involved, there's confusion involved, you don't even know what a trust is. There's so many questions around it, there's so much confusion around it, and unfortunately it's hard to find a trusted source, someone who's going to actually help you and care about you and your family. Today I'm really stoked to have really more of a very good friend of mine, but also one of the smartest guys you'll ever meet when it comes to living trust, litigation, trustees, making sure people do the right thing. He's my good friend, Matt Stein. I can't wait for you to hear about what we're going to talk about right now. So let me tell you a quick story. Matt, it took a year and a half for me to get you inside because you're so busy saving people with their living trust and litigation and people doing wrong things. And I know you might have a couple kids at home and some soccer practices, but all things that are great sometimes take a little time. So I'm stoked that we finally got to get in the room. So welcome.
Thank you so much for having me, Chris. I really appreciate it.
Yeah. We're going to get you on the hot seat a little bit.
Let's do it.
Maybe take off your clothes, down to the shirt.
See about that.
Yeah. Anyway, thanks for coming in. As we're starting out January 2026, I know there's so much I want to talk to you about because the landscape of generational wealth and the transfer and making sure people are doing it right is really what I want to talk about. But you also know me. Let's take a step back. Let's talk about some of the fun stuff for a few minutes. One of the things I love about this podcast, since it's mine.
It's yours. You get to run it.
I can say anything I want. And I say this all the time. As you've seen these, I interview my friends, which I love way more than that. But I always learn something new about someone from those questions. And sometimes I'm like, shit, how did I not know this about Matt? But something I learned about you.
Oh.
I knew you loved scuba diving, but I didn't know scuba diving's like
it's my jam.
that's your thing.
That's my thing.
Right? When did you start? Where's your top 2 favorite spots that you've been to? And where's the dream scuba diving spot?
I love that we're starting this off by talking about something that's so important to me.
Way more important than
it
work.
Is.
That's
it's
for
great.
Sure. Yeah.
I started scuba diving. My wife and I got certified together roughly 20 years ago.
Yeah.
And
before kids, obviously.
Yeah. And as soon as I got underwater, I realized that nobody can get a hold of me. No phones.
Right.
I can be underwater for almost an hour in just pure bliss, total quiet. It's honestly like meditation. When you're under the water and you see just the fish and the coral and it's calm and the visibility's beautiful and the water's warm and you're just like, I don't want to go up.
You're almost forced just to lay down and just breathe and just embrace it.
Yeah, and as you know, with 3 kids and the job and the boards that I'm on, there's so much going on, which I am super proud of, and I'm lucky. There's times where I just need to decompress, and there's times where I just need to be lost. And when you're under the water, you really feel like you're on another planet. It does not feel like anything else. And so as I've gotten older, cold water is a little bit more difficult. My Catalina trips are fewer.
That happens, by the way. Yeah.
I know. So really the warm water stuff is what I love to do. And just to see what's under there. Wreck diving, cave diving, whatever I can do to see large animals. I love that. I love seeing the big stuff down there, but also the tiny, minuscule coral. It's just it's a beautiful world down there.
Any of the kids take it up yet?
So my 16-year-old's been diving with me. Yeah. We're in the process of getting him certified.
Coolest thing in the world, right? Especially at that age, right? Your son's not stupid. They're stupid, right? They're 16.
He's 16,
and,
right?
And it's like any way to connect. When my youngest son got to be that age, he loved fishing in Dana Point. Anytime I could go throw a pole in the water regardless, right? Just that time. Right. So the fact that he's taken some interest in that and you can do that together.
It makes me happy. Makes me
phenomenal.
really excited. Yeah. And then my 13-year-old is also interested. Yeah. He's got to wait a couple of years till he can get PADI certified. But I'm excited to be able to be under the water with eventually all 3 of my kids and just show them that world. Because they see my videos and they see my, my logs.
You
and
take your GoPro underneath and do all that?
I do. Yeah. And so they're just like, I want to go.
Oh my gosh. That is so cool. I know you know this about me. I'm an empty nester. I love that you're going to do that now with the kids. The trips you and your wife are going to take when the kids are gone are going to be even better, right? Because I had a friend of mine say recently, it's like, dude, you're traveling, you're going on all these trips. I'm like, well, the goal was to get to this age.
Yeah, we can.
When I was in my 20s and early 30s with 3 kids, I couldn't afford to go on a cruise to Alaska for 21 days. And some of the trips Chris and I take now, I can afford them a little bit better. The trips you and Carlin will be able to take when the kids are gone to go scuba diving to whether it's Fiji or wherever you go, oh my gosh, that's going to be even bigger and better.
Yeah.
You know, so
we're looking forward to it.
Yeah, good for you. How do you mix in the time with that? Are you still rolling on the mat in jiu-jitsu? Are you still in your men's soccer league?
Yeah, all of it.
Yeah.
All of it. Just priorities, right?
Yeah.
All three of my kids are in different club sports. So for me, it's just about priorities and figuring out like how to manage their schedules first and foremost, how to manage my schedule, figuring out time for myself, whether it's the gym, whether it's at soccer, whatever I'm doing is really important for my own mental health. And so I've got to find an hour a day at least to do something for myself. Otherwise, there's too many things going on.
Yeah. You know, I'm going to say something nice about you that I don't
keep it to one.
I don't really like doing that to the 5.7 listeners.
I appreciate that.
Who the few that are listening know, for those of you who don't know, Matt and I have been friends for about 7 years now. We met in a networking group. And so we laugh a lot together and we joke a lot together. But the crazy thing about you is you maintain, whether it's intentional or not, one of the things I admire about you, you maintain this relative spirit of calm. And I don't think that that's just when I see you. I don't think it's just when I've seen you in a work environment. You seem to be able to maintain that, which is great because your highs probably aren't too high. Your lows probably aren't too low. Do you think that because you force yourself to say, I don't care what's going on in my life, like I need an hour to Matt Stein time, because if not, I'm not going to be great in these other areas, right? Is that fair? Whether it's soccer, jiu-jitsu, or just decompressing?
Yeah, I think so. I think that I have to find that balance. There's so many stresses at work, right? What we do as litigation attorneys, as trial attorneys, there's so much pressure and there's so much intensity that if I allow that to define who I am, I won't be a very happy person. So I've got to find that middle balance. It's not always middle. I'm sure there's plenty of people that will tell you that I'm not always in the middle.
Sure, your wife would have a comment to make.
Right.
For sure.
But I have to be able to balance that, and you know, exercise definitely calms me. It allows me to have that space to just breathe. And take a deep breath. And then it also, as we all know, with you know, like the runner's high, the endorphins, when they're released, you start thinking clearly. You start making better decisions. You start really understanding your priorities and in your head thinking, oh, I haven't done this yet. I need to do this. And so that's what exercise really does for me. It allows me to think clearly. Yeah.
By the shape of my body, I'm not a runner.
No, so you're fit. You're fit.
Thank you. So I don't get to have that runner's clarity, but I tell my kids all the time, like, Dad was athletic at one point. Like, I didn't weigh 195 all the time. Like, I was 165 and I was doing better. Let's jump right into it. So Law Stein Anderson, founding partner with Zeb, who I just got to meet. Genius.
Oh, good.
Genius, by the way.
Yeah.
When you started the firm with Zeb, has your focus always been on litigation?
Yeah.
And that's really been your passion right from right out of the gate. Not that helping someone create a great living trust or a dynasty trust or high net worth clients who really need a family trust. I know that's all important, but you've always been passionate about litigation, and that's really what your focus has been.
Yeah, I just like being in front of a judge or a jury. I mean, at the end of the day, I like being on stage. Right? I like being in front of them and connecting with them in a way that is believable, is trustworthy, and, you know, figuring out how to, you know, feel their energy so that I can communicate the story to them in a way that they understand and that they can make a decision, hopefully for me and my client. And it excites me more than anything. It's this high that I get when I'm in front of that jury or judge. And so starting there, right, that's the end goal. Unfortunately, we don't get to do a lot of trials these days. A lot of cases resolve pretty quickly.
Settle,
Yeah, they settle, they resolve, which is usually good for the client, and that's number one.
Sure.
But if you start there, then you go backwards. Litigation there's all kinds, right? You've got civil litigation, you've got business litigation, you've got trust litigation. And so I found myself about, 15 years ago doing trust litigation because not very many people were doing it.
Okay.
And so
that was kind of the genesis to it. You're like, I'm good at it. I like it.
Yeah.
I want to go to court if that's what happens.
Right.
And I'm passionate about trusts.
Yeah. And so I I worked for a large law firm, and I represented Caterpillar on their big product defect cases, going to these huge trials. I mean, we're talking multi-million-dollar, massive machinery, catastrophic injuries, 10 experts on each side, months of trial.
I was just going to say the prep for that's got to be massive.
It was. Sleeping at hotels for weeks on end, setting up an entire war room to figure out who are we gonna call next, and talk about,
because these are big cases,
huge cases,
tens of millions of dollars, hundreds of millions. I mean, big cases.
Yeah, exactly. And so that's really where I learned how to be a trial attorney in these types of environments. And
what a great stopping
super
point.
Fortunate
to spend that time there, where you really get to cut your teeth at some of the probably most difficult trials you could come across, I would think.
Yeah, at the time I didn't know it. I thought all trials are going to be like this.
Yeah.
And I did numerous ones that were just, they took years to prepare for, and then months to actually try.
Yeah.
And I realized that I loved it. I really did. I didn't like that it was, taking me away from my family for months at a time.
Yeah, of course.
I didn't like that it was all consuming at times, but I knew that that's what's necessary for the client. And if I'm going to get signed up by this client, I'm going to give it everything I have. And so I started to see that I also liked the family dynamic fights. And that's where the trust litigation kind of the door opened. Yeah. And I started handling some trials and some matters in which the families.
At your firm that you were at?
I left that firm, the large firm, and I started my own firm. Okay. Gosh, roughly 2013.
What was it? Matt Stein Law?
Yeah, I think it was just, I think it was.
I love it.
I don't remember now. Yeah. I think it was Matt Stein Law.
I love it.
And I started doing this trust litigation stuff, and I realized that I was in courtrooms with a bunch of estate planners who were excellent estate planners.
But not great at litigation.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so it was...
all of a sudden you become... it's a step above, right? I mean, let's call it what it is. You're a little bit more talented in that area. You're a little bit more well-read, a little more knowledgeable, and probably more passionate about the outcome, I would think.
Yeah, in depositions, in handling yourself in front of the court, that's what I love doing. And the estate planners I was in the courtroom with, that was their favorite thing. Yeah. And so it was I was very successful.
Some low-hanging fruit there from outside.
I will take it.
What a great way to launch.
It was a good way. It was a good way to launch. I then met with Zeb, who only does the transactional high-end estate planning. He's also an LM in tax, and he also teaches at Chapman. So he does a lot of all the stuff that just goes over my head. I'm like, I don't want to do all that paperwork, and he's brilliant at it.
Probably stuff you don't want to do either.
Right.
I mean, that's his area of expertise. But you joining him probably brings him a lot of value as well, right? Because that's a category he probably didn't dance in before.
Right. And we saw that we were handing each other work constantly, because I don't want to do the transactional planning. Yeah. He doesn't want to do the litigation. Yeah. And so it was a really good relationship from the start. And we realized in Orange County, there's not very many firms that do really high-end planning and also litigation. Yeah. And so we started to build, and we took off. We really did.
When was that? You can tell there's no order in my interview, by the way. I
fine.
Dance around everything.
It's fine.
Roughly when was that?
I want to say 2014.
When you joined.
When he and I joined, and we made Law and Stein. Yeah. And we had, very few employees.
Say, how many people at the firm, roughly?
5?
Okay.
6?
Let's pause there for a second.
Sure.
Because since I've known you, I've watched your trajectory, even though I know you don't like to say good things about it. No, I mean it. We have all had a front row seat. It's been really fun to watch, right? It's so much more fun watching someone you like succeed.
True.
It doesn't mean we don't want people to succeed, but there's a lot of us, your friends, that we've kind of had this front row seat.
I love it. I love watching people succeed.
And I know you do. You're always so helpful to people. But so there's 5 or 6 of you. Fast forward to today for just a minute. Mm-hmm. You've got your expertise in litigation. Zeb's got his expertise. I know that you brought on Shauna Anderson, and she's an expert in the planning side. And
she's excellent.
And she's got her team. What's the total head count roughly at the firm now?
We're close to 50.
50 people?
Yeah.
In a pretty short window?
Yeah, about 26, 27 lawyers, and then staff. And then we've grown pretty significantly.
But by adding Shauna and just more people, you really now encompass kind of all 3 facets of it, right?
We do.
To a certain degree?
I'd like to talk about Shauna, because that was a huge piece of our firm growing when she decided to join us, because she had her own firm and she didn't need to join us.
Right, I remember.
And we were so lucky when she said, yeah, I'd like to do this. So Shauna handles a lot of what's called trust administration, right? Which is somebody, your mom and dad die and there's a trust and there's some wealth there and you've got some brothers and sisters and you're the trustee and you want to make sure you do everything right. And you don't want to get sued, and maybe you have a brother or sister that's not your favorite, and you just want to follow the rules of the trust.
Yeah,
that's where you hire Shauna. She'll come in and make sure you are going to follow those rules.
Yeah,
and she'll guide you.
And we're going to talk about that in a minute. By the way, no, keep going. But we're going to talk about that because that's one of the most probably impactful things you and I will talk about, because that will really speak to most of the audience. Okay. Now there's 7.3 listeners, but that'll really be an impact for them. So you bring on Shauna, right? And you met her through Provisors, right? Yeah. And you guys started doing some sort of business. She and I just being friends.
She and I have a lot in common. She also played Division I soccer. She's got 3 kids. She and I just had so many different things that were like, this is great. Yeah. And we're in the same chapter of life, Yeah. And that was
You guys have similar dispositions. I know you know that. You guys have similar dispositions. You can both have a great time, but when I spent time with her, like for the working mom and wife, like she's pretty level as far as her disposition. So I could see why that's a synergy for the two of you, because I think you're very similar in that.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you. That's a compliment. I appreciate that. I really value her as an attorney, as a friend. Yeah. The firm has really grown because of her guidance. It has.
I love that.
Excellent. And then a few years later, we made Christine Allen a partner. She is
also from Provisors.
Also from Provisors.
Not that we own stock in Provisors or we're going to plug Provisors, but it is what it is, right?
True. Yeah, she's excellent. She's a estate litigation attorney. Yeah. And in my totally biased opinion, probably one of the best trial attorneys in Orange County, if not LA.
Wow.
She's a force to be reckoned with. She's an excellent estate litigation attorney. She understands that probate code. She understands judges. She is fantastic with clients. So you put those 3, Zeb, Shauna, Christine, I guess you slide me in there as well. We're very fortunate that our
your name is on the wall.
I guess so. Yeah. Right. So it's been a fun ride for sure.
Mm-hmm. Let's talk about that for just a minute. Hardest thing that you experienced to go from 5 to 50? Like what was the one thing that stands out? People don't realize, if you haven't grown an organization, that there's a lot of fun in it. There's a lot of stress, right? Some days you're literally taking out trash cans. Yeah. And then other days you're trying to find out who can I have take out the trash can in a way that's going to make our customer experience great.
Yeah.
Quick thing, off the top of your head. What was one or two of the single hardest things, most difficult challenges to go from 5 to 50 in a relatively short period of time?
Yeah, it's a great question. I think there's 2 things. One, I think making sure that I'm still close with everybody in the office, that I know who they are, that I know their husband's or spouse's name, that I know who their kids are. As you grow, you start to see people in the office that maybe you didn't personally hire, and you're like, who is that over there? Yeah, right? And I don't want to have that environment.
You're sneaking around the corner asking a staff member someone's name or something.
Right.
Yeah.
And so for me, it's really important that I know who people are and their life and what they like, and then what I call it, their why. Why do they come in the office every day? It's not always just because of money. Yeah. There's a lot of other reasons. And so we have why lunches where I take people to lunch and I ask them that question. What is it that you're doing?
Is that kind of your role at the firm?
I don't know.
I'm not saying Shauna doesn't do that stuff, but is that? Because every time I'm with you and there's someone from the firm, one of the things you're very good about is you're very good to stop and make an introduction immediately. If you know someone and you're very good about making that connection. And so it seems like that's been kind of a role that you do.
I don't know, man. I like it. I enjoy it.
Yeah. It's not like on the org chart that Matt's head of employee experience or something.
No, I know that the morale in the office is key. We've all worked in places that were not great.
For sure.
Like, that's how we learn.
I'm sure.
But some of those places were so traumatic for me that they really made me realize, what kind of environment do I want to walk into every day? right? And so no yellers, no screamers, no door slamming.
Yeah.
Somebody where I say this all the time to the office, nobody wants to work. We don't want to come into work.
Right.
But if we're going to, like, let's have a place that's fun,
Make it
that
as
we
good as
care
possible.
about each other,
Yeah.
right? And so
creating that culture is hard, right? Takes
super
time.
hard. And that's one of the things.
Finding good people.
Right. That's one of the things growing that fast is
Yeah.
making sure that those people all fit that mold. We have 4 core values at my firm.
Yeah.
And those core values, our vendors, our clients, whoever they are, we kind of, we look at them and to see if they fit.
Yeah.
Because we have to work with these people on a
Right.
daily basis. So we make sure that if it's not a good fit, there's plenty of other work out there
Yeah.
that does fit. And
Yeah.
So we move on.
I've read enough books. I've had enough failures to know that if you could coin that and put that on video and tell every single self-employed business owner that's starting out, if they could remember one thing, you nailed it. Trying to understand like what you do best and what's your core, and realizing someone may come in and if they don't fit that core, that may not be the right client.
Yeah.
And it's hard to, as you know, especially when you started out, it's hard to say no to someone. You're like, I could really use this check because I've got a kid that needs cleats.
Yeah,
or,
I mean, it's
or
money. It's
rent
like, hey,
or something, right?
Right, but we all know what happens once that comes in. It's the
Right.
headache that it creates, right? So if
Yeah.
I'm not working on that matter and there's another attorney and another paralegal and another staff and I've just made their life a living hell because of this situation,
Right.
it's not worth it.
And lose opportunities for the other stuff.
It's not worth it.
Give me one unexpected victory. Like you're going through this growth process, happens pretty fast. You're adding people, trying to create culture. What was one thing that happened that maybe you didn't expect to happen as well as it did? And you're like, oh my gosh, like this is just a byproduct. I don't even know if I tried to make that happen, but shit, it happened. So
Yeah.
what a home run that was. Can you think of one?
Yeah, it just happened. It happened a few months ago. I had no idea that one of our paralegals, she nominated the firm as one of the top workplaces in Orange County.
Yeah.
The company reached out to the partners and were like, can you fill out these forms, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, hold on, how much is this going to cost? And it's just one of these things that I have to buy.
Right.
And they're like, no, it's free. We'll give you the results. We'll let you know how your firm is doing. We interview your people. And I was like, okay, great. Let's see how we're doing.
Yeah.
We got the results back and the individual from the company was like, we've not really seen results like this before. And I was like, yeah, you tell everybody that. How much do I have to buy, right?
How much is the annual subscription?
Right. And he's like, no, we'd like to invite you guys to our award gala. And I was like, okay, great.
Which not everyone, I know the award you're talking about, not everyone gets invited to that.
Correct.
Okay.
And so we asked our staff, because they're the ones that filled these forms out and they're the ones that participated.
Are they really anonymous, by the way?
Yeah, I never saw who they're from.
You and the partners don't see them.
No, we see the
least-
results, like the analytics of
Right.
it, but I don't know,
You don't know
who
which
filled
person-
out what. No,
yeah.
I didn't.
Which is the best way to do it.
True, I
It's
agree.
the only way they're going to be.
I want it to be fair.
Of course.
Yeah, and so not only were we nominated, we ended up winning #1 workplace in Orange County, and so
Oh my
big
gosh.
award, and one of our associates got up to speak in front of the gala. It was really amazing. I was really proud of the firm. And
Oh my
I
gosh.
mean,
It's
for
incredible.
them, because it's the employees that got to vote, and they're
Yeah.
the ones that got to say that. Like, it made me feel amazing. Like, I've been flying high since.
I mean, I know you never boast. You're not a pretentious guy. Even Matt Stein has to leave that night and go home to your wife and just be like, we're just trying to do good here, and look what happened. Right? Is that a fair statement? Like, you have to take a pause and say, oh my gosh, like, I can't believe that I get to be part of this, and this is how my employees feel.
Right, exactly. I look at it as, in the sense of, like, these employees like coming into work. They like being here. And like that, what else can I ask for?
Yeah.
Because when they like being there, they want to do good work.
For sure.
And they want to bring their friends over to my office and work there. And we grow with other people who have those same core values.
Yeah.
So it's been a fun journey.
Congrats on that.
Thanks, man.
I love that.
Appreciate it.
We're going to spend a few minutes and get a little bit more technical on what you do. So, I have a living trust, right? I have one. I understand Shauna's role. I understand.
Am I a beneficiary of your
Zeb's
trust?
role. You are 100% not a beneficiary of my trust, but you are on the letter as a backup just in case my current. Yeah. Let's talk about litigation.
Sure.
For the few listeners, you've got a family, mom and dad pass away, right? There's siblings, and one of them's a trustee, hypothetically. First question, when it comes to the kids fighting and when you get involved, they're probably starting out the fight because one of the beneficiaries doesn't agree with it, wants more money, wants more say, wants more something. Is that typically a result when one of the kids is the trustee versus a fiduciary or a farmers and merchant bank or something like that?
Yeah, a lot of times what happens is this, let's say there's 3 kids, right? And one of the kids just never got along with mom and dad. And mom and dad love them, and they're in the trust as beneficiary, but that kid was just tough kid, right? For whatever reasons.
Yeah.
And that kid's not named as the trustee. Maybe the other 2 kids are co-trustees, or one of them is. Usually the oldest is, right?
Sure.
And so there's a lot of built-up resentment, a lot.
I'm sure.
And so when mom and dad pass, the individual beneficiary who's just jilted, and he may be getting the same amount, a third, but because he's not in control, it just creates all of these emotional decisions that unfortunately cost the trust a lot of money, because the trustee, who's the oldest, is going to use trust funds to defend the trust if a lawsuit's filed.
Right.
And so it just opens up this avenue of litigation that unfortunately really tears a family apart.
Yeah.
But on that same note, having a professional fiduciary, like a third party who's not affiliated with the family, that has a fiduciary license, or a corporate fiduciary like a bank, farmers and merchants.
Sure.
That seems to, in my experience over 20 years, seems to really avoid litigation, because what happens then is those 3 kids, they have now a joint person to point a finger
that
at.
They can hate.
I don't like you, right?
Yeah.
It's not a brother or sister.
Yeah.
And the family actually stays together because of that. So I've seen a little bit of that. The problem is you have to pay that professional fiduciary more money. Corporate fiduciary, even more money.
Yeah.
But it avoids litigation.
Yeah. I remember we had talked a while back. I know you never disclose names, but I remember we were talking about a case one time, and you were really like torn up because these siblings now like hate each other.
Yeah.
And I remember you saying there's ways that people could avoid this and keep the family together. And one of the things I loved about that statement was that statement actually takes business out of your pocket to a certain degree. And I love that that's who you are at your core. You're like, I hate seeing these siblings hate each other. I make a living defending the people that are trying to do it right. But those are the stories that we hear so much. And I don't think that the generation, not mine and your generation, but our parents' generation, where the biggest transfer of wealth is coming, it seems like the majority of them are still picking their kids because
they are. It just feels better.
Right? It just feels better.
Yeah.
Or they don't know which corporate fiduciary to go to or whatever. So quick question on that, because my ADD is in full swing right now.
Let's go.
Why can attorneys be fiduciaries? Like, I'll give you an example. Can I have Shauna build my living trust, and then when we pass away, I'm aware you can do trust administration where you make sure the trustee's doing it right. But can Stein Anderson also be the trustee? Or is that kind of a...
So individuals need to be a trustee, right?
Okay.
So we usually let clients know that if we're going to draft your trust, and sometimes they look at us and they're like, well, this blank, which is I got to fill in who's going to be my trustee. You just drafted my trust. You know all about our assets, my family. Right. Can you be my trustee?
Right.
That's a huge problem.
Yeah.
Optics, it doesn't look good.
For sure,
it really
right?
doesn't. There are legal ways to go about it that protect both sides.
Yeah.
You can get a certificate of independent review, meaning you go to a third attorney and say, hey, this firm drafted my trust.
Yeah.
I want this attorney to be my trustee. Can you look at this and make sure it's okay? You can do that.
Which you have to have that layer of protection because not everyone's going to do it right. And I know you're going to do it right. And I know there's a lot of great attorneys.
Well, I have a lot of lawsuits in which the attorney who drafts the trust puts himself in as trustee.
Okay.
And then he's in charge. And then he takes trustee fees and legal fees.
Right. It's got to be a conflict.
A huge conflict.
Right. Which is probably why you don't even... Even though
I don't
there's
mess
ways
around
you
with that.
could potentially do it.
We just don't really need to.
Yeah,
I don't
good for
want
you.
to.
Good for you. No, not worth it.
No, we would rather them get a professional fiduciary in there.
Yeah.
And I think one of the questions you were going to ask is, can an attorney also be a professional fiduciary?
Yes.
So in California, which is one of the only states where there's actual licensing for fiduciaries, if you think of fiduciary, it's the person in charge of the pot, right? That's what a fiduciary really is, like a trustee.
Yeah.
And so a fiduciary can be licensed in California. Attorneys do not need a license to be a fiduciary. They already have one.
Okay.
And so I know it gets a little bit complicated here, but you can name a professional fiduciary who's also an attorney.
Okay, so I'll give you a hypothetical.
Yeah.
Your firm drafts, whatever agreement it drafts, and their cousin who lives in Alhambra is an attorney. They could potentially be just the trustee, right? But they weren't involved in preparing.
That happens all the time. It's
Okay,
like families say, look, your uncle who lives on the other side of California, he's going to be the trustee.
Yeah.
And that uncle was an attorney,
Yeah.
for 30 years.
Okay, got it.
So that happens often.
happens.
The problem with that is that if the uncle doesn't have a good relationship with the beneficiaries, the kids,
Okay.
and that's where things get sticky.
And I think you said something earlier. I watched one of our very closest friends go through a really contentious divorce. And before it got really nasty, the wife, who was a dear friend of ours, didn't want to fight anymore. And she just wanted to be done with it. But he wanted to fight. And she decided to fight. And she says, Chris, what do you think? I said, here's what I think. I said, how much is in the pot? She told me. I said, here's how much is going to be left for the fight. Is the fight worth it? She goes, yeah. And so she fought. And she lost
All of it.
70%
Yeah.
of what was going to be there.
Yeah.
Difficult to get sometimes siblings to maybe see that it's like, hey, listen, you can keep paying me and you're going to pay this person, you're going to pay this person. All we're doing is diluting the pot. Or do they have to just go through the fight sometimes because that's what they just have to go through it?
I mean, you hit that's the crux that I have
Yeah.
conversations with clients. I just had a conversation with a potential client yesterday. Exactly this. How much is the pot? Okay. Here's what the legal fees, we don't know, but roughly is going to cost.
Yeah.
If the pot is not significantly higher than what these legal fees are, I always tell the clients, look, you're not going to end up with a lot. Even if you win, you're not going to end up with a lot because you just spent so much in legal fees, right? So let's balance it.
Inherently, the trust is going to pay those legal fees, like you said.
Yeah, depending on each trust.
Yeah.
Right. But that you have to balance that.
Yeah.
As a good attorney, you have to look at that and say to them. Now, to your point, there's a lot of clients that come to us and say, I don't care what it's costing. Like, I don't care.
Yeah.
I want to follow my mom or dad's intent.
Yeah.
That's the most important thing that I want to happen is that my mom and dad didn't want this thing to happen that my brother did.
Yeah.
Okay, I understand. I can walk you through that.
Yeah.
I feel that. I'm sympathetic to that. But I want you to remember that in 6 months when you're getting my legal bills.
Right.
So let's talk about this.
I love that there are some people that might be like, because I'm sure, especially in your world, I'm sure there's good people, and there's also people that are just in it for the money grab.
I got one right now. There's an apartment complex of over $60 million at issue, and these two gentlemen just keep fighting over it.
Yeah.
And at their age, they'll never see the money. I mean, they're elderly, but it doesn't matter. It's principle.
Yeah.
They've never liked each other for years, and so it's all about that internal emotional conflict.
Yeah, the battle.
So I got to put my psychology hat on and be like, okay, let's unpack this. Like, why don't you like each other?
Yeah.
And so
do you have to get that deep sometimes?
I do, because I want to understand the real motivation. If it's not money, I got to understand what is going to get these guys to the table to resolve this case.
Yeah.
Like, what are we going to do to figure it out? Oh, is it because you got the red bike when you were 10 and he got the blue one? I know it sounds silly, but that's actually a matter that I dealt with. He was always resentful that the other child got the things he wanted, including the red bike.
Yeah.
And so you stack that for years and years and years, and you have this resentment. And so I have to unpack it. And look, I'm not a psychologist, but if I can get to that root, my job is to get them to a table to resolve a case.
Maybe help them see a little bit more that there's something else there, not just
Yeah, for sure.
I could imagine like the therapeutic side of your job,
Yeah.
even though like you're like, I didn't go get my, MFT or something like that, but the
Yeah.
therapeutic side has to play a role if you're, and I imagine there's a point where people are just like, we're going to fight. And you're like, okay, well, let's fight. And that's what I do. And then we're just going to do that. I could also imagine there's sometimes there's a little bit of a victory of like, they're going to settle. And this person's given up a little bit, this person's given up a little bit, but at least they're just going to get through it. Now they're not going to have as much anger and frustration and stuff like that. Because I know the human side of you prefers people to not hate each other. And there's always going to be the people that you're going to have to litigate.
Yeah,
To defend, right?
I try to make them understand like this is a family member. This lawsuit that you want to file, it's going to have a huge divide in the family. Yeah. And like if you know that and you're okay with that, like we can move forward. But I'm sensitive to the emotional side. Yeah. Significantly more considering I have a family, I have kids, I have a brother and sister, I have a mom and dad. Like how does that look? Yeah. And so I want to make sure they really understand not just the cost, but the emotional toll that litigation is going to have on them. Yeah. And yes, I may lose business because of it, but if their family stays together in some way, like that's worth its weight in gold to me.
Well, and I know you know this. There's enough business to go around anyway. Everyone I know that gives a shit about what they do for a living, when people really say, I'm going to put my client's needs first, and the monetization will come later. And if I get to transact, that's great. Let's transact. If we're going to do the right thing and we don't transact on this one, we're going to transact on the next one. So let me, what's the best advice? This might be a hard one because I know you have to be careful of what you say legally. I'm sorry. What's your opinion on someone, high net worth individual? They've got their living trust. Would your group try and encourage them to do the corporate or a fiduciary? Or do you just kind of say, listen, if you want your kid, here's the pros and cons. If you want a corporate one, do you just kind of lay out the options and ultimately they're going to pick which way they want to go, whether you try and guide them to protect themselves?
Yeah. I mean, every family is a little bit different with the dynamics, right? Yeah. And so if the mom and dad have, a lot of wealth, and they're trying to figure out, should we be naming all 3 of our kids or 2 of our kids as trustees? None of them. As litigation has just increased, and you can see that in the probate courts. I mean, the court's docket is stacks and stacks of cases, 400, 600 cases per judge. I mean, it's wild.
Massive.
Yeah, which means that it's taking forever for cases to be heard, let alone actually get to trial.
Years? 2 years?
Oh, many years.
Wow.
Many years.
Because I know a regular probate's what, 18 months to 2 years right now, give or take?
Yeah, give or take, depending on Orange County, LA, or San Diego.
But the litigation stacks.
Longer. Much longer. Yeah. So, when you look at how long it takes, matters in court, you have to really think about, like, is this decision, can I live with this decision for a long time? But backing up and answering your question, I'm a huge proponent of professional fiduciaries. Okay. Not corporate fiduciaries. They're good and they have their role. Sure. But professional fiduciaries that your family can work with while you're still alive, that you can build relationships with, and those professional fiduciaries then take over. Yeah. And they're the ones who are making sure that your true intent is followed. It's just I know that it's not a family member, but in the long run, it's going to save your family dynamic, and it's going to keep your family together.
The fiduciary, you and I know a couple of them.
Yeah.
It seems like, I love what you just said. They get to be impartial. The 3 kids can have a common enemy. But I love what you just said, where they can kind of get to know the settlers before they pass away, so that, you can really follow the writing. But even sometimes it's hard to plan for every single circumstance. But if they know you and what your intentions are, and they know about your kids, it might make that decision for them a little bit easier to steer to the right path with what your intentions would have been.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Trust Experience is a fiduciary service company that does an excellent job at understanding the family dynamics, at stepping in as a fiduciary, at managing that, whether it's bill pay, whatever is necessary. Yeah. Trust Experience does an excellent job at that. And that's who I'm really telling most of my clients to go to. Yeah. I'm like, just hire them.
That's a huge accolade, by the way. Yeah. Because I know, you have to be very careful on saying like, hey, I like this person or trust this person or something. I know that doesn't come lightly for you.
Yeah, but Trust Experience I've seen their work, and they do an excellent job of making sure the professional fiduciary is acting in a fiduciary way, is taking care of all of the bills, making sure that the beneficiaries are taken care of.
Yeah.
Like they are professionals.
Yeah.
And so that's who I go to. There's others in the community. But to answer your question, if you want to avoid litigation, if you think your kids are not going to get along, even hint at that. If it smells like that, go hire a professional fiduciary.
Yeah. My wife and I chose one of my best friends. He's a little bit older. He's a little bit crotchety. And it's funny because we've told our kids, hey, we've updated Living Trust. Here's where the bodies are buried. And 2 of the 3 kids are like, oh, yeah, that sounds great. It's Craig. Great.
Perfect.
You could have seen the look on one of my other kids' face of like, oh, shit, I'm not getting away with anything.
Oh, no.
So we went.
Well, it's good. I mean, that's what you want, right?
Yeah, we went that route. By talking to you and some others that I know, I couldn't pick one kid. Candidly, I couldn't pick one kid who I thought 1,000,000,000% would do everything we said. Mm-hmm. Nothing against them. And I couldn't pick a kid who I didn't think may not buckle a little bit because they don't want that tension with the brother or the sister.
Yeah.
And so for us, that's what we did. One more thing on this. Because I know that fiduciaries are, let's say it's common, and corporate fiduciaries, a little bit different, right? Maybe that's a big bank with some oversight. Your fiduciaries, company you just referenced, how do I as a trustee, I want to presume everyone's going to be honest. Mm-hmm. But how do I, as a trustee, just say, yeah, I just want to make sure it's honest. Like, do I get a statement every month? Can I request information? Like, obviously, you pay them to do their job. But how, as a trustee, do I know that someone I don't know isn't taking the money that my mom and dad has
just accountings. You can ask for accountings every month.
Okay.
Yeah, there needs to be total transparency in all of those things because
I'm sure the good ones do it.
Well, that's what we see in litigation, right? I get a call from a beneficiary and they say, I don't know the trustee who's in charge of this trust. Mom and dad are died. They have a trustee. I don't know this trustee, and I don't know what they're doing with the money. I don't know what they're doing with the rental houses. I don't know where mom and dad's Morgan Stanley accounts went.
Yeah.
The trustee won't give me anything, won't tell me anything, and I know mom and dad had $10 million.
Yeah.
I'm not saying I want all that money, but like, where is it? What's happening?
Yeah.
And that's where beneficiaries, I get the most calls, and that's where we can really help.
Yeah.
We can step in, and we have the language to use to send to trustees to say, here's what we require, here's what we are demanding, and you have a certain amount of time to get it to us, and if you don't, here's the results.
Yeah.
And that's where beneficiaries should be calling us.
I was just going to say that seems to be kind of like, is that kind of like a first call that might come? And again, I know your firm handles a few different verticals on that, but like for Matt Stein in particular, for your litigation group, that's probably a first call, right? Maybe someone's got a concern about, I don't know where the trustee is doing with it because we can't get bank statements. We're not getting our money or something, right?
Yeah, give me a call.
That's a great start.
That is the number one start. Or the trustee saying, I got these beneficiaries that won't leave me alone.
Yeah.
I'm doing my job, and they won't leave me alone. And I think they're going to sue me.
Yeah.
I need some help.
And you can defend them as well.
Yes, absolutely. So trustees, we really enjoy representing trustees, and we definitely represent beneficiaries all the time.
For sure, because you've got both, right? You've got the beneficiary who's not getting what they need from the trustee, so that trustee needs to be accountable.
Yeah.
But then you've got the trustee who's probably trying to do the right thing, and they're just getting attacked, and they're like, we need you to defend us.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We've talked way too much work, but sometimes I always have a plan. Like I think, I'm going to talk to Matt about this, and it's going to be more personal.
Yeah.
And then I love it. It just
flows.
segues. Yeah.
It flows.
We're going to wrap up here, but I want to talk about a couple of really quick things. And I ask this question to people with kids because my kids are grown. Mm-hmm. Biggest fear for your kids in the next 10 or 20 years? And it could be a cell phone, it could be social media, it could be is Venezuela about oil or everything? Biggest fear, 3 kids, teenagers, like next 10 years, like.
I know it sounds cliche, but AI, like I don't know what it's going to look like for them.
Yeah.
I don't know what doors are going to close that were open for me.
Sure.
I know that my kids will be fine. So it's not really a fear. It's more of just a curiosity of what is it going to look like for them.
Yeah. What's that impact going to be?
Yeah. Like whether it's majors at colleges, whether it's jobs, careers, like how are they going to stay relevant? How are they going to be at the forefront of AI so that they're the valuable ones, not the ones trying to catch up? So.
Aren't you? I'm always grateful for whatever phase of life I'm in, right? I'm in my 50s. I'm so grateful that I don't have to deal with AI, to a certain degree.
I get it. I like it.
No, I love some of the stuff I do, but I love that at almost 59 years old, I don't have to even think about reinventing myself because my runway's shorter. You're much younger than me. Your runway's shorter. My granddaughter's 8. I worry about her runway because of AI and stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean, like my parents, they're like, I never knew, I don't know how you guys do it these days. And I'm saying the same thing to my kids. It's the same thing, but I'm excited for them. I'm really excited for them. I think they've got a really bright future, all the kids these days.
Let's talk about that because I always ask people like, hey, what's your biggest fear?
Yeah.
What are you most excited about for your kids in the next 10 years? Because it's different. Our parents' teenagers were different. Mine years are different. Our kids are going to be a little bit different. What are you most excited about?
They're so much more skilled when it comes to computers and technology and like the ability for their brains to just expand from that. I mean, the things that my kids are bringing me from Canva and all these different things, I'm just like, this is amazing.
And they're so much better at it than we are.
Yeah.
I mean, they crush it.
I love it. And so for me, I'm excited to see what they build, what they create, what they manage.
Yeah.
Like I know that my kids are going to build on some amazing things. They already have. And so for me, I can't wait. I can't wait to just be that person who eats popcorn and watches them just expand all over the place.
One of the things I love the most is I've used Excel my whole life.
Yeah.
And I've never been great at PowerPoint. I got a 36-year-old daughter-in-law who's an Excel wizard.
Yeah.
And I got a 31-year-old daughter who I can send you to them and say, hey, can you knock this out for me? I know how to read it. I know how to do it and stuff like that. But I love having kids.
That's the power.
I got no pride.
Yeah, that's the power of who, not how, right?
Yeah,
you
that's
don't
right.
Need to do it.
I got no pride. Like if anybody can help me.
That's great.
Dude, listen, I'm glad we got to talk. I'm going to have you kind of do your takeaway in just a second. But what I really want you to do is I want you to look in that camera, tell people how to get a hold of you and like when's the best time to reach out to you.
Yeah, sure. Thanks for having me.
Yeah.
I really appreciate you doing this. This is great.
It goes fast.
It does.
Yeah.
It does go fast. LSAlawyers.com. You can Google my name. You can find me at Law Stein Anderson. I want you to think of me when you think there's something going on with your family before it happens. Whenever there's issues with mom and dad, when you think they are starting to lose capacity, do they have a trust? Who's going to be the trustee? If you think that one of your brothers or sisters are taking advantage of mom and dad, we call it capture the king or capture the queen. You don't even know where mom is or dad is. There's just things that they're not right. Before anything serious happens, give me a call. I can walk you through the steps. Hopefully I don't need to get involved. Hopefully you don't need to hire me. But the sooner you call me for any issues, the sooner I can guide you and give you sort of a protocol for what to do, which has worked for many, many of our friends and family, so they can avoid litigation. You want to avoid litigation at all costs. But when it's necessary, when something has been stolen, when some mom and dad's assets have been taken, I don't like letters. I like to fight. I love litigation. If you want to hire somebody that knows what they're doing, a law firm that's going to back you, that has 26, 27 lawyers, you're hiring a team. There's no nonsense. There's a lot of wealth involved. Give me a call.
The best part about my guests is that they're my friends and that I know them personally. And when you get to hear someone like Matt Stein talk about what he's passionate about, and his first answer is, well, let me try and help you find a solution before you have to send me into the court to fight for you. It goes a long way, and there's a common theme with my friends. They all come from the same mindset that they really want to do what's best for their friends and their clients first. Law Stein and Anderson, they can handle inception of establishing a living trust. They can do trust administration. Matt's specialty, as you know, is administration. His partner, Zeb, is a genius who I finally got to meet and talk to when it comes to tax law and high net worth individuals. They're an incredible resource to start with. Please reach out to them for any questions you have or scuba diving tips. I know Matt, he'll do anything you need, and he's just a great resource for those family needs. Matt, thanks for coming on. It was great to have you.
Thanks, Chris. I
appreciate it. Yeah.
Thanks for having me here.